Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Welcome back! Today we're going to be playing with some inks and backgrounds again, and this time we are going to do a technique that's an oldie but goodie, and what you're going to need is some shaving cream and Reinkers, although I do want to try and see if the powdered pigments will work with this technique, and I was giving it a play because it's been a while, but you can get lovely, interesting gradient backgrounds doing this. So let's get our stencil set up on a piece of paper. Let's use this one. And for this, I've got some antique book page, but I remembered as I was testing this out not to use it on the sticky mat because it tends to stick to the mat and rip, so we won't do that one first. And then I've got, this is just 20-pound like copy weight cardstock, because what I want to do is I think I'm going to use these for some stack and whack tags. So this is 6 by 3. And I may end up trimming everybody down just a little bit because these are 6 by 6 stencils, but that means the image is slightly less than 6. And so I'm going to put out some shaving cream on my thing. And it doesn't matter that I'm going over the green that I had done before. I'm just going to kind of smooth it out a little bit. Got just an old card, plastic card that I'm gonna use for scraping up the shaving cream. So I got a little thing of shaving cream. I'm gonna grab, I think for this one, I want to try some dried marigold, maybe a little ripe persimmon, and I think I have abandoned coral. Yes, I do. So what we're gonna do is, am I on screen? Yes. All right. So we're gonna take a drop of each color and go 1, 2, 3 drops of that. Probably should have gone dried marigold, ripe persimmon, abandoned coral, but I didn't. So it's too late now. Drop there. And a drop there. Then I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm going to swirl my Reinker through the shaving cream. I want to get a little bit more color spread out, so I'm just going to go through again. Again. Now I'm going to use this to kind of scrape up that ink, and all I got was the dried marigold and ripe persimmon because I should have gone that way, but we're just going to go ahead and then just smush it down onto our paper. Then what we can do is pick this color up over here and smush it down onto our paper. I'm actually going to come in and scrape a little bit more of the excess off. Now, I'm just gonna carefully wipe it off. And there we go. That came out pretty cool. And I'm gonna set that aside and do a few more with what I've got on there already. Let's grab a different stencil. Since my plan is to do stack and wax, I'm gonna do several in each color just to make sure I can do these kind of monochromatic. So let's do this one, and we're just gonna use what's on there. Ooh, that's not stuck down very well. All right, let's do this. Now you don't have to wipe it off. You can leave it on. That one got a little smudgy. But I find I tend to like the look better. It's more vibrant if you wipe off the shave gel than if you leave the shave gel on, or shaving cream. But there's another one. So each one, it's different, and it's just, I like this technique. All right. And I probably should be telling you what these stencils are. The last two were Simon Says stamped stencils. One was Flora, and the other is Large Chevron. And this is Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous, and it's 034. So yeah, this one, it's getting a little more blended. So yeah, if you don't wipe it off, it's a little more cloudy, like washed out, because you still got the white from the shave cream in it. But I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And then that. I think wiping it off works better if you leave the stencil in place. You don't get as much smudging. But yeah, each one of these a little bit different. I kind of want to do like a coffee dyed piece of paper, which I saw I had some coffee dyed paper here a minute ago, and I don't know. This is not cut to size. This is probably 5.5 by 8.25, because I think it's half sheet sizes. And I got a dog who wants to come in, so I'll be right back. Figured might as well do the whole page. And this is a PM Artist Studios stencil. The more times you use like the same scrape, the more blended it gets. There we go. There's some more color variation. And of course, I've got another dog who wants to come in now because I just sat down. Trying to make sure I get it everywhere. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Let's now do a piece of book page. And then I'm not going to put on the thing because my dog just ran off with a scrap piece of paper that was on the floor. Because, yeah, it does not like the mat. Let's see, what do we got stencil-wise? This is Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous, and it's THS048. This one's very blendy at this point, but that's all right. Each one's a little different, and it's just a cool technique and fairly easy and straightforward. Oh, that's right. Let's leave this on. Yeah, the color's just more intense if you wipe off the shaving cream. Now, I did one, I was playing around because it's been a while since I've done the technique, and I didn't wipe it off on this one, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I can go back now and buff it off, and it'll be more intense in color. Let me
grab another piece. Yeah, see, if you go back after it's dried, you can buff it off without having the stencil in place, and not have the pattern like get all smudgy. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a few more. Want to do some blues with the Distress inks, and then I want to pull out, hold on, Bert's getting into trouble. All right, I had a bit of a cleanup and grab some more stencils, and my dog Bert is trying to get on my last nerve right now. So let's put some more shaving cream out. And this is my craft room shaving cream because I buy like shave gel for myself, but just buy a cheap thing of shaving cream and that'll do you just fine. I'm gonna grab a bunch of blues. Alright, so I've got Salvaged Patina, Tumbled Glass, Peacock Feathers, Broken China, Uncharted Mariner, Salty Ocean, and Stormy Sky. We're gonna see what we get when we put some random dots of each on here. And you of course could do like rainbow of colors on one, like mixing blues and greens. I've certainly done that before. In fact, the reason I decided to do this today was because I have a card that I made for my mother that I have sitting out on display because she passed away 6 years ago now. And I used this technique and I was like, oh, I haven't done that in a while. I should play around with that. That'd be a good video. All right, now we're gonna give it a good swirl around. Now you could also dip your paper straight into this once you get like the pattern going. That is another option. Let's grab, I think I'm gonna grab a couple pieces and use one of the bigger stencils because like this one, each section's gonna get me like a different pattern. I wanna maybe scoot them down and get the pod on. All right, first we're gonna get them on here straight. I'm gonna do 3 because why not? Let's do one of them as book big. Do that. Maybe scoop them closer together. Uh-oh, that got lifted up a little. Alright, so this guy, I'm gonna kind of go this way and that way. Probably should have taped the stencil to my mat here. That probably would have been a better idea. Get some of the big clumps off. I'm gonna set them aside, let them dry, and then buff off the shaving cream. This guy again, and I'm gonna bring the mat back over. It's just a little bit easier. And then, ooh, I'm gonna do another coffee dyed paper with the blue. Set this aside, let the shaving cream dry, and then buff it off. do coffee dye paper. That's too big for the mat, so let's grab a sheet, bring that over, grab a big stencil. This time I'm gonna grab a little low tack tape and tape the stencil down. That's gonna be cool. Okay, so we had a bit of some technical difficulties, and by technical difficulties I mean user error. I thought I had pressed record when I came back after a cleanup, and what I'm trying out is to see how using the Lindy's magical shakers and flat magical shakers work. And I grabbed Rosewood Rouge and Kissing Couple Crimson, and I've done a couple. And I wasn't actually recording, and it's very subtle compared to using the Reinkers, and I wanted to do a few more, so I grabbed a piece of coffee dyed paper, figured let's see how it looks on that. So you'll get to see the results. Sorry I didn't film the process, but basically I just sprinkled some of the magicals on my shaving cream, and now I'm getting some blue in here. Don't know if that's from the shakers, because they do have variations in the color in them, or if it's from the blue underneath from what I was just doing, because I just put shaving cream on top of the old shaving cream that was there. But yeah, the powdered pigments will work. They're just going to be way more subtle than the Reinkers. So let's that up. So yeah, definitely a more subtle result. I feel like that might have a little over there. So yeah, cool, but definitely way more subtle. So I did that one, and I've got a couple more. This guy. So yeah, definitely interesting results. Okay, so we're gonna do one more experiment. I don't know where I put my little spatula thingy. Probably like right in front of my face, and I'm just not seeing it. But we'll just grab another one, because I've got a bunch of plastic spatula thingies in different shapes. All right, so for the next one, we're gonna see about using my Distress Mica spray stones. Now, I'm not gonna spray, because I think that's gonna add way too much liquid to our shaving cream. So what I'm gonna do is mix it up. So what I'm gonna do is mix them up, uncap them, and put a few drops on like that. So we'll see how well this works. And that was Specimen. I've got fresh balsam and holly branch. Need more color on there. Dripping it off on the side over here and making a mess. ahead and give it a good buff. Uh-oh, it was not dry enough because that got all smeary. So there are a couple spots that came out really cool and a couple spots that didn't get any color at all. Let's do another one using that same stencil and just try again and see if once we get it a little bit more mixed, we'll get a slightly better result. And this is Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous THS026. Super subtle. I'm debating going in and buffing off to see what we've got. And I think I'm gonna go for it. And hopefully we're not gonna... I'm kind of wondering if I stick it back down again and do another layer, what'll happen. Bit of streakiness, but definitely more color doing a second coat. It's kind of cool. Let's try it on a piece of coffee dye paper. I bet we'll like how that turns out. This stencil, and this one I was not sufficiently delicate with it and ripped it, and so I need to be very careful as I use it now. Let's tape it down. Doesn't move around on us. I may just do this and go right in and do a second coat, since we know doing a second coat worked well for the last one. I have nowhere to set anything. Like surrounded by papers. All right, I'm gonna let this just dry and we'll come back and do the buffing in a minute, and I'm gonna have a bit of a cleanup and we'll buff everything and see what we got done. Okay, so everybody's dry. We've got a few that we need to buff off the shaving cream from. So let's do this one. And now I'm wondering if I did this one on screen or if this is one I did off screen because there's shimmer on it. So this one probably is one of the ones I did off screen using the Lindy's Magicals and Flat Magical. I did Every Picture Teals a Story, Smudge the Sage, and Mystic Crystal Teal. So what I'm noticing with the mica powders is when you buff off, you take off the shimmer, because I don't think there's very much shimmer left on, but I like the colors. And these I know we did on camera, I just don't know if they're, yep, no, let's give it everybody a good buffing. And my dog's going crazy. So interesting how different the colors are on antique book page versus just white cardstock. And these are going to be so cool. All right, let's do this one. So yeah, you can really see the difference between the buffed and the unbuffed. And I just like it better when the shaving cream residue's buffed off. Let's see, I think this one's, nope, needs buffing. Like, can't tell sometimes. And I buffed all of those. So we've got our blues, our peachy orangey colors, the greens, and I think this one needs to be buffed. And this was the one with the micas. Let's see. There's a little bit of shimmer left on, but not a ton. Yeah, I'm gonna need to stick all of this stuff under some heavy books to flatten them out, because yeah, they are curling. And these are the greens. I did these guys off camera. These are the ones I did on camera. And then we've got the pinks that I did. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I buffed all of them. That one I think got buffed. That one got buffed. I don't know that this one did. Nope. Yeah, most of the shimmer's coming off, I think, with the shave cream. Yeah, not really much of the shimmer left, so I don't know that using either the micas or the powdered micas is worthwhile. Although using the powder pigment does get interesting color variations. This one you can barely see the pattern. I use that butterfly stencil I have, so it's very subtle. And then this one. And then I did do some more off camera. I did, these are the powder pigment ones, and I really like those colors. I did yellow with my Distress Reinkers. I think it's mustard seed and squeezed lemonade. I did purple using, what did I use? I used Wilted Violet, Shaded Lilac, and a little Dusty Concord. That got some good variation on these guys. So yeah, I kind of went to town, and I really now want to do a whole bunch of like coffee dyed papers with my bigger stencils and this technique, because those came out really cool. And then I did pinks, which were picked raspberry, sponge sugar, and kitsch flamingo. That's what those look like. So I got lots of fun papers to play with, and a rainbow of colors. But these guys are definitely very muted. Definitely like the Distress ink results better than most of the powders, although the blue combo of powder, the teal powders, those I like how they came out. Those were a good color. The pink, not as much, but still kind of cool. So yeah, a ton more papers to play with. Eventually we are going to start making stuff with all of the papers that we keep making, I promise you. But yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun playing with ink and paper, and making pretty backgrounds that I will eventually use on something. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.